What is going on, everybody? It is lunchtime. Lunchtime with Clydesdale. Just got done with my morning at work. This will be my last day at work for almost a week as I'm hitting the road tomorrow for Montana. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at, says Meredith. Good morning, Meredith. Jody, it is lunchtime. It sure is. So glad you both could be here today. And we'll see who else kind of rolls in here. Yeah. So I'm prepping for my, I got to do my dart throw. Here we go. I'm going to move the mic today. All right. I got closer. I'm in the inner circle, not quite to the bullseye. About a third of the way down the 9. I'm still hitting that 9 kind of wedge. I've been out on the outer edge of the 9. Now I'm in the inner wedge, heading closer to the bullseye. So we're making progress, people. We're making progress. It's all about getting better every day. There we go. I think when I get back from Montana, I'm actually going to set up a quick camera to film the board as I throw so you guys can see where it lands. I think that would be cool. So we'll do that just so you can kind of see that. But yeah, so I'm prepping for my trip, and I am not sponsored by anybody right now, but I am hoping to be. Anyway, these high ground beef chips, I tried those. Oh my goodness. They are so good. They remind me, I grew up next to a general store owned by this older lady who would make and I grew up in the woods. So we lived in really rural Pennsylvania, around a lot of oil fields, the Pennsylvania crude. So oil lease roads everywhere. Hunting and fishing was like the sport of choice. So this little general store next to me, right next to me, would make homemade beef jerky. And that's what that reminds me of. Like really thin cut beef, dried out. It's like perfect, super thin, super easy to chew. Like I've gone to like butcher shops and gotten like really good beef jerky at high quality that was thick. And by the time you finish like 2 pieces, your jaw is like on fire. So yeah, highly recommend those beef chips. They are so good, so tasty. Just enough cayenne to kind of give you a little sense of spice, but not like spicy or hot in any kind of way. Just really, really good. And there's only like 3 ingredients: beef, salt, and cayenne pepper, I think is it. Elise is having eggs and burger for lunch. How about y'all? So my question to you, Elise, is I'm so picky about this. I love an egg on my burger. Like if I'm having a burger, I like to have an egg on it, but I am so picky about it. Like if the yolk doesn't run, I get pissed. And so I'll be at a restaurant, and if the egg is an option for my burger, I will ask the waitress, like, can you guarantee me that this yolk will run? Because if it doesn't run, like it's just a waste of my money. Like I want that yolk to kind of like pour out over the whole thing, and almost become the condiment of the burger. But it sounds to me the way you wrote that it's more like scrambled eggs and maybe like ground beef ground up kind of inside the burger. So just curious, but I love a fried egg on my burger. Just crack that yolk, let it ooze out, and I'll even knife and fork it if I have to get through it. But man, that is the best. But these high ground beef chips, they're really good. The problem is if I open a bag, like the bag is done. The bag is completely done. ACR says, I like runny yolk, but today is egg bites and plain burger patties. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've even done like just the egg on a burger, no bun, nothing, just, and cut it up with a knife and a fork. And just love that runny yolk through the burger. But yeah. I feel you. I feel you, ACR. That's good. Um, so I'm planning for this trip, and I went to the store last night, got a bunch of vegetables. And I'm gonna chop those up this afternoon to have in the car because I'm a snacker when I'm in the car, and I need to have good options when I do that. So I bought some celery, some green peppers, some carrots, some cucumbers. Um, I bought some grapes just to kind of have there um, at our side while we're traveling. A little bit of hummus, but I don't even usually dip my veggies in anything. But my daughter does, so we're gonna have a little hummus and a lot of veggies and some fruit to kind of have on the road. Um, yeah, just to kind of make it more. Uh, the big thing for me, I'm 55, right? When I travel a lot, and if I eat some salty food or drink salty drinks, like my legs will swell a little bit, and I don't want that to happen. So I keep the fiber intake up with the veggies and really eat kind of healthy on the way. But so prepping all that this afternoon, packing up my last load of laundries in the dryer, getting ready for that, and then off to see some moose, some elk. But I was actually warned this morning by Lex that she used to take hikers up into the mountains. And moose are the most dangerous animal to come across in the wild, and I didn't know that. So I guess if I see a moose on the way to Montana, I'm hoping that I'm still in the truck when I see them, so that I don't have to encounter the moose face to face. But yeah, I've never seen them. I've said it a couple times now. I've never seen a bison or a moose or an elk in the wild, and I'm hoping that on my trip I get to see all three. I like eggs anyway, from boiled to runny yolk and all the ways in between. Me too, but that is like um these days that's like $50 to have a couple hard-boiled eggs, man. I love hard-boiled eggs. I love deviled eggs. Yeah, I love eggs. Period. Andrew says moose are gigantic. Yeah, I'm hoping I get to see one. It'd be really cool. I was thinking of I was thinking of like top 5 Tuesday, like all the cool places of all the places I've been in the world. What are the top 5 places I've been? And what's crazy for me is um all of them have like this association with food. So I didn't formally put together a list, but like my top 5 places I've ever been in the world is like number 1 is New Orleans for sure. And it's really because of the food I love and the atmosphere, just kind of going down Bourbon Street. And the food is so unique and so, um, and the people there just are so into it. It's so cool. That's awesome. And uh, when I was in Spokane, Washington, that was awesome because the salmon is so fresh. I ate salmon like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It tastes way different than what we get here on the East Coast or the Midwest compared to that. And Philadelphia is one place that I love to go. I just love the soft pretzels there. And I had one of the best meals I've ever had at the restaurant that held where the men would go after the First Continental Congress to eat. And they still had food on the menu from when they went. So they had like rabbit stew and stuff like that. I had an awesome dinner there. But that's what was going through my head. Like, why is it that my favorite places to visit have a big um, connection with food? Maybe that's been my problem my whole life, is that that's where I prioritize things. Cat for lunch is having rice crackers, Colby Jack cheese, and Ben and Jerry's. That is quite the mix. Quite the mix. um. So yeah. So that's what I was thinking about today. The other thing I wanted to talk about briefly today is last night's show was awesome. We talked a little bit about the team workouts being released. I'd say a little bit. We actually talked a lot. And if you didn't see last night's show, it cracked me up at the beginning because Carolyn just dove right into this thing. So I'm going to play this for you. If you haven't seen last night's show, what a trip. We talked about the team workout and them adding running to the mix. And here's what Carolyn had to say. Is everybody in an uproar?
Rightly so.
Yes. And that is workout 4. This is an online semifinal event for the teams. And in this, it starts with an 800-meter run, 100 pull-ups, 800-meter run, 100 chest-to-bar pull-ups, 800-meter run, 100 muscle-ups. Time cap 25 minutes.
Ring muscle-up for that one.
Yeah, ring muscle-ups. So, Carolyn?
This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life for a CrossFit program workout, to go to a world championship like the CrossFit Games. It is so stupid to like running for distance in an online format. Like, there's no way that anything is standardized. You just took away the whole standardization of an online competition. The distances aren't going to be the same. 800s are not going to be the same. Even watch to watch is not the same. The climate's different. Like, we're just able to run outdoors now, like in certain climates. Some gyms are in basements where they have to go out of their gym through hallways, maybe upstairs, down the stairs to get out. You have gyms in affiliates that are in cities that have traffic lights around them, people walking, busy streets.
You get the idea. She was not happy about, I know there's been internet uproar about this for the last 24 hours, but she let her feelings be known about that. And if you want to see the full take on that, that was last night's show, looking at the programming for the teams in an online event. We went on to talk about like how easy it would be to cheat. We've already had people impersonating judges. We've already had missing videos. We've already had lack of accreditation. And with the teams, you have to have 3 judges now. You have to have 2 on-floor judges and 1 head judge for some of the events. It was so hard for some of the age group athletes to get 2 judges. Now they're asking them to get 3 for the team division. This is so crazy what they're doing. By moving the teams out of the in-person events, and now they're doing their semifinals online. 800-meter runs, and if you look at the standards, there's no standard that they have to be videoed on the run at all. So they can go out the door, hide behind a tree, count off the time about 3.5 minutes, roll back in, and nobody is the wiser. The standard is that you have to take a video of the 800 and the course, and then one of the athletes needs to wear a wearable device that tracks it. So technically they're the only one that have to run the damn thing. And there's nothing to say they have to do it at the exact same time as the workout. Just have them do an 800-meter sprint and call it a day. It's such a fiasco. And I know that, like, and we talked about this last night, is it's like CrossFit is making the assumption that because you have L1s and certified judges, that people are going to be on the up and not try to cheat. That it will be prevented by these people possessing the credentials that they do. And we found that people are impersonating judges and don't even have the credentials. So that isn't necessarily true. And there are going to be some teams that, when given the opportunity to cheat, will cheat. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes this weekend. And if Hiller's going to be busy. And I know he had a video about this yesterday as well. And he said that he can just picture someone knowing that a team's going to cheat and in the parking lot with their camera up over the steering wheel, getting ready to send a video to Hiller. So Andrew Sten says, I think this is more evidence CrossFit doesn't care about the team competition anymore. I wonder if it'll go away completely soon. I don't know my complete thoughts on that. I see exactly where you're coming from. I think they want to change the teams. I think they want to make it like a pairs competition. I don't know. I think the way the teams is set up is not entertaining. I think the way teams would be more entertaining is if it was run more like Wodapalooza SoCal, where like you have one person take the floor for this event, maybe two people on this event, maybe four people on this event, and it changes up throughout the weekend. And it's part strategy, part fitness. Like, do I start this person against this person, or do I start that person against that person, or whatever? And I think that's the way it needs to change. So yeah, but that's a topic for another day. I think that changing the team competition is inevitable to make it more entertaining, because I'm not sure in its current format it can stand on its own. And it really does appear that CrossFit is pushing it out there and forcing it to stand on its own as instead of being a part of something. So yeah. I guess like I just, it baffles me that people that have been around the sport this long are putting out workouts like this and not thinking that it's going to be a complete cluster. Like, I think that's what's baffling me more than anything in this whole endeavor, is that these people that have been around, like Dave's been around since the beginning, Boz has been around since almost the beginning. How can you not look at this workout and think, man, we're gonna have some problems? I think that's what concerns me the most. I like the idea that you're forcing teams to run. I think that is a crucial component of fitness, but there's no way to judge it and make it a fair competition in order to do it. So yeah. So anyway, Corey and ACR are having quite the conversation. Dang. So yeah, so that's been going on this week. I did watch the Brian Friend Rich Froning podcast this morning. My thoughts on that were that I was ready to pop some popcorn. I was ready to kind of see what was going on, and it kind of left me flat. I think the line of Rich saying that Brian was contributing to the divisiveness in the sport never got addressed. I think they spoke about what they felt was wrong with CrossFit. I felt that they talked about maybe some solutions to what might be wrong with CrossFit, but they never addressed. They addressed the squat back and forth, but never discussed the divisive comment or that Brian wanted to be paid to be on the Froning podcast. That was just kind of left out there with no answer. So I think Kenneth nails it. It was overhyped. They really did clickbait the cut up of the interview on Instagram, where none of those phrases were actually together in the podcast, but they put them together to make it appear like it was going to be juicy with a lot of tea. And it turned out that it wasn't that really at all. So yeah, my thoughts on the whole thing are that we are a divided community at this point. There is one group on one side and one group on the other. And I don't know what it's going to take to bring those two sides together again. And I know I keep comparing this to Full Swing, but I am in season 2 of Full Swing, and this happened in golf with the Live Tour and the PGA. And then they eventually decided that the best thing for the sport was to merge. And when they did the merge, they worked so hard before the merge to galvanize their sides against the other, and then decided to merge. And now you've created this animosity against each side. And now it's, how are you going to mend the fences? I don't know what it will take to do that in the CrossFit world. I think the sale could be an antagonist to that. Depending on who buys CrossFit, could be the start of mending those fences. But I don't know. I really don't know what's going on. I did like the fact in the Froning podcast that Rich talked about the WFP not really letting people know what they were doing. And it was hard to get behind them when they weren't telling you what their intentions were. And it actually turned Rich from trying to find out what was going on to being pissed at them for not telling him. And he said, not like I need somebody to come kiss the ring, but we just wanted to know what the deal was. And he did get some answers from Brian during the podcast. And I thought that was a little bit interesting. And it did kind of show some of the weaknesses in the current CrossFit Games season. And so CrossFit has kind of let themselves open to a competitor of some sort. Now, we don't know what's going to happen with this. Their first event is still 2.5 weeks away. So we don't even know how many people are going to show up, or if they're going to do anything, or if anybody's going to watch. My guess is the first tour event will be watched a lot because people have curiosity and they're going to want to know what it looks like, what it sounds like, the production value behind it, and is it going to be worth anything? And then you'll get all of the criticism or praise the following week. And when they go to Tour Stop 2, my guess is those numbers will drop some because the curiosity will be gone. And people that actually like it will stay, and people that are critical of it will go. And then we'll see kind of where they are at that point and whether it's going to be a viable option or not. I don't think Tour Event 1 tells us anything, because I think the curiosity will increase the numbers and the attendance in that first stop. And then it's going to be the second stop where we're going to determine what the real response to coming to watch them or watching on the stream is going to be like. Buster Cherry says they have an affiliate program that isn't created, but are trying to get 50 gyms to join to build it. Not a very sound business plan. So Brian Friend actually responds to this in the Froning podcast, where the premise behind this is to build the affiliate program using 50 strong affiliates from different places in the world, from different points of view, some CrossFit affiliates, some High Rocks affiliates, and kind of get them together to build the business plan. And that's why they're called the Founding 50, because the idea isn't to go from 0 to 100 with the affiliate program, but to grab the initial group of members to have them help them build it. Which I don't hate that plan, but to do it without that explanation out front, I think was a huge mistake. So, and I think with that, if they're going to slow roll that into this first 50 to come up with a business plan, and depending on who buys CrossFit in the next 6 months or so, I think that either that door is going to open or that door is going to shut, depending on the sale of CrossFit. So I think we're in a very critical time in the next 6 months to see where opportunity may exist or where CrossFit may solidify themselves. But this sale is big, because there are people trying to break down the door. And can CrossFit solidify that with good ownership and a sound business plan? Or are these other opportunities going to open up for the World Fitness Projects of the world? Just my opinion. So, so yeah, I think that is the most that I got out of the Froning podcast, was a little bit better understanding of what the World Fitness Project is trying to achieve. And I do believe they've made several mistakes along the way. So I don't think that it's clear cut that they're the better option or anything like that. I just think that CrossFit needs to tighten up the ship and not let the opportunities of it, not make the opportunities available for others to tear them down. And CrossFit keeps tripping over their own feet this year with the structure of the sports season, with Froning said a lot in his podcast that he pays $4,500 a year and he doesn't know what he gets for that $4,500, other than the name CrossFit, and that he has seriously contemplated what that actually means. And he said, he reiterated, which he has said in the past, depending on who buys this, is whether Mayhem is a CrossFit affiliate in the future or not. So I think from all those perspectives, it was a good podcast. But if you were looking for the drama and the tea from the Brian Friend, Savon, Hiller thing, it was as Tommy Marquez would put it, a big old nothing burger. They didn't really even address any of that. So, and I was really looking forward to it. I being part of the media, and I know I'm just a little tiny part, but by having media access, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that nobody knows about. And I just keep my mouth shut because I'm just a little fish in the big pond, and I just go about my business to the best of my ability. But so much stuff goes on behind the scenes that nobody even knows about. And I thought I was wondering if some of it was going to get exposed in this podcast, which none of it did. So yeah, I think there is division at every level in the CrossFit space right now, and that is not good for the methodology. It's not good for the sport. But there's divisiveness in the affiliates. There's divisiveness in the media. There's divisiveness in the athletes. And I don't mean divide. I mean division. That's better. There's division in all of those entities, and I hope that there's something that happens to pull everybody back together again. So, well, we're about tomorrow's show. My daughter and I talked this morning. I don't know when we're leaving tomorrow. We're trying to avoid Chicago rush hour. So we're either leaving early in the morning or we're leaving after lunch. If we leave after lunch, I'll be doing the show right here from the basement. If we're leaving early in the morning, I'm going to try to do the show from the truck in my iPad, or maybe we'll stop somewhere and do it. But I'm going to try to do a show tomorrow, either on the road or in the basement tomorrow. So tomorrow you'll be surprised. But we'll be back again tomorrow, and we're going to do shows on Thursday and Friday from the road on the way to Montana. Maybe we'll be lucky and I'll get a moose in the background to be my co-star for one of these things. Who knows? But we're headed out tomorrow. Can't wait for that. Gonna go chop up some vegetables for the trip, make a few sandwiches to have in the cooler. And with that, guys, lunchtime's over. Time for you knuckleheads to get back to work, and we'll see you tomorrow on Lunch with the Clydesdale. Thank you so much, guys. See you then.